My daughter's asleep in the background, so nobody get too noisy. Okay, the whole reason I came on today is because I went through all this work. I took out my dreads and I put in all this weave, right? And it turned out great. It turned out pretty good. Okay, here's the weave before when I first finished it. It came out good, but I'm like perfectionist. I'm a perfectionist, so there's little parts in the back. There was little parts on the top that just would not do what I wanted them to do. And so I got upset. And then I started, like later on, it was bugging the shit out of me. Like long hair, just having long hair was bugging me. I just kept having to, and I'm not used to having to do that anymore. And so I had my daughter help me cut it short the way I wanted it. And then this is what we ended up with. And I loved that too. But then last night I put my hair up in a mohawk. And I'm like, I'm loving it. I'm loving it this way. Seriously. You can see the tracks and everything, and I don't give a shit. Look, here's my hair, my natural hair growth sticking out. But yeah, I've got this messy hawk thing going on, and I love it. Like, I don't give a shit. It looks amazing to me. Yeah. Why I felt the need to come live like that, I don't know. The hair was pretty, but I know it was going to drive me nuts because I was constantly. I only spent $25 for this hair, and I still have like half of it left, except it's mostly dark, like the bottom here, because the bottom's a dark brown. And is that glue? But yeah, like this way you can see my tracks. I think I might take some of the dark and just go along the edge. You'll be able to see the track, but who cares? I don't freaking care. I think it looks awesome like this. It's totally my personality. Here I am in my. Aren't you beautiful? But yeah, I had not a temper tantrum, but I got upset. I had a meltdown because I got so exhausted from putting my tracks in by myself and not having help. And then I know people that can help me cut my hair. I know how to cut hair. I just can't. It's hard to cut your own hair when all you have is a hand mirror and the mirror behind you. Like, I don't have one of those folding mirrors. I don't have the triple mirror. And I need that to actually do my hair perfectly the way I want it. But like this, I think it looks so friggin' cool. I don't even care if you can see the tracks. I don't care if you can see glue. I just want to keep it this way. Anyways, I got upset because my family, like, I don't think they realize. I don't think family realizes how important they are, and when we are as dysfunctional as we are, a lot happens up here. Anyway, so I did some videos about something I had seen Steve Harvey do on TikTok. Let me find it. Steve Harvey on TikTok. A great video. I did my own version of it. Hold on. I'm sorry, Mrs. Huxtable. I did my own version of the Steve Harvey thing. Let's see, where is it?
The second reason people don't have what they want, and be through with you, they don't have it written down. This is a very, very important piece to success. It's a principle of success. Every wealthy person knows this. You got to have a vision board. It's got to be written down. You know why? Because that's a scripture too. Habakkuk 2:2. Go home and read that one. It says, write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time, wait for it. For surely it will come at an appointed time. Man. Second reason people don't have what they want.
So yeah, obviously the Steve Harvey version is much better. It's just me lip syncing, and but
second reason.
Yeah, it led me to pull out my Bible and read that. It led me to tell my daughter we were going to make vision boards because there's a lot of things I want. And so I guess today is just me coming to grips. I think I've said this a million times, coming to grips with, I think this is a lot of why I was never able to come home. Every time I have an episode like this, I regress ridiculously. I spent last night jumping on the bed, my daughter telling me to go to bed. I had to take my sleeping pill because she has to go to school. She was the one that had to be the responsible one, and I applaud her for that. She just kind of had to help me get out of that spot that I was in. She told me how much she loved me. She told me how amazing I was. She hugged me. She slept in the bed with me. And she's sweet. And because I didn't want to sleep alone. No one realizes that even when you're abused, I've never actually been alone until the last 5 years I was in California. And I was completely and utterly alone. I had a few friends that would stop by to make sure I was okay because I was such a loner. They would try to get me out of the house. They would try to get me to do things. Very rarely, if ever. And if they did, it was only for like probably 15 to 30 minutes. It was never anything extensive like that they would get me out of the house for. Except for one person that would come from out of town. Anyhow, so yeah, I threw my little tantrum last night. Now I've got my edgy punk mohawk going. I told my friend I was going to call him back when I finished my hair. He's going to be upset I didn't leave it the way it was, but he always gets over it. You should have seen his face when I shaved it. He was like, oh. Yeah, he was the only one that saw me firsthand, like right after I shaved it. Ray Gonzalez. He pulled up to the house and he was like, I think I sent him a picture just so because I knew he was going to come by. He was the one that would come by and check on me. I knew he was going to come by, so I sent him a picture. I was like, I shaved off all my head, all my hair, on my head. Anyways. So yeah, I'm loving this. I'm loving this right here. I don't have to mess with it. It's not bothering me. This bothers me a little bit, but it's supposed to be messy. So like, it's perfect. I'm going to start my job. The thing about my job, I can wear jeans and a t-shirt. I went through all kinds of stress to get ready for my interview. I had nothing to wear. I had things that mixed and matched. Then I realized I had to ride a bike, so I had to put on pants instead of a skirt. And then I didn't have pants. And then but I remembered I had pants from another interview. And I was like, oh, okay. So I put those on, and I didn't like the way they looked. I had leggings on. Those didn't look good. And then I put the pants over the leggings so I'd be warm enough to ride my bike and be decent for an interview. Finally put on a pair of black pants over a pair of black leggings with a sweater, a nice sweater that my aunt gave my daughter, and then my jacket. And I pedaled my ass to my interview early, and I got in there and I got auto hired, and I did everything I was supposed to do there. They keep sending me an email saying I need to send them the stuff for my background check. I already did all that at the place. Anyway, I start March 9th. I'm excited. I'm so effing excited. The hours are perfect. This little guy here. Where is it? I can't. Oh, there it is. The hours are perfect. Everyone always has something to say about everything. So like people find out, you're gonna work there. Well, it's a call center. Call centers have high turnovers. All of them do. It's just the way it is. I don't know why. I love customer service. I love call centers as long as it's inbound. Like UPS package tracking, that was like one of my most favorite jobs in the whole fucking world. I loved it. I didn't stay because I was being abused. But anyway, I was having a tough time in life. That being said, I told myself today, Spectrum Mobile turned off my phone for all of last month, right? So then I paid the phone bill yesterday or the day before. And then I get an email saying that my payment wouldn't go through. Like the first one yesterday, the day before yesterday went through, but they were trying to process it again. And so I called them. I was like, they were like, oh, that's the payment for last month. I said, no. My phone's been off all month. You can't charge me for last month. First of all, I already paid $40 on my devices, which is like $40 out of 104 I pay a month. So that means I only really owe $65. So they convinced me to let them take it out again, and then they'll refund me the $65. Well, that doesn't make sense because now you're making me pay for my device twice, my device payments each month twice. It's taking money from my rent and all this other stuff. So they told me to wait and see. I finally agreed to it. I was like, okay, I'll put the 105, I'll make the 105 available so you can pay the bill again and then refund me the $65. And I'll just be one payment ahead on the device payments, which is, it's like $40, 15 for one and 25 for the other. So I wake up this morning and it's still not deducted. So I put the money back in my savings and I was like, forget you. I'm not going to pay this extra. If they turn the phone off, they turn it off. I'm fed up. I don't really use the phone other than to speak to like 2 people. No one calls me back. No one really stays in touch with me. I have a friend in Indiana that stays in touch with me. And he works every day of his life. And he still reaches out to touch me. It's not what I meant to say. He still reaches out and gets in touch with me. Let's see. My spiritual mother, I call her my spiritual mother, Miss Betty, from India, one of the very few people I love and respect out there. Her, the managers, and a few of the managers' friends, a couple of the people in the park, the trailer park, a woman named Berta, a guy named Larry, and his brother John. I didn't know them well, but they were a few of the people that were very nice to me and would always say hello. Let's see, well, the managers, the neighbor is my spiritual mother, is what I call her, Miss Betty, and Linda. Linda's a lot like me if I wasn't such a hyper happy person. Like, she's one of those, I don't want to talk about people, but she's one of those people that like other people look at and they're just like, ugh. Like, she doesn't seem like a very nice person, but she's really an awesome person. Like, she's just fed up with people's shit. She doesn't let anybody get to her, and she just goes about her own business. And so people automatically assume she's like not anyone that's very nice or anything, but she really is. She's an awesome person, just like Miss Betty. But I like her because she's just herself. She doesn't give a fuck. She doesn't run around chasing after people. She doesn't have people running around chasing after her. She's awesome. Anyways, Miss Betty's awesome too. She's just like, she spends too much time alone. She's like me. Miss Betty's my spiritual mom. Miss Ginny and JD, they looked out for me. I know there was one night Miss Ginny I went through something the night before, and then I think Miss Ginny went through something too because she came over to my house and brought some donuts and she was shaking. She was trembling. I couldn't figure out why. I was like, okay, well, it was raining and it was freezing cold. Maybe she was just cold, but I don't know. I think she has a lot of the empathy or empathic abilities like me, kind of, maybe. I don't know. But I'm like an empath, so I kind of, sometimes it's a bad thing. Sometimes more often than not, it's been bad because I get around people and I can feel what they're feeling, all the negative things they're feeling. Even people that I don't know, and I don't like it. But and that doesn't help when it comes to my being anxious or whatever. Anywho, the whole reason I came on here was because the Steve Harvey thing inspired me. I don't want my life to be filled with what it was filled with yesterday. Like, it was fun. I did my hair. I liked it. I loved it. It was beautiful. But then I knew, realistically speaking, it was going to drive me crazy. And then, so I wanted to just get it as short as I wanted it, which was like pretty much like this all the way around. And I couldn't get this without putting them in tiny little buns. So, but now I got it. I wanted it to be curlier, but this was the only one I could find. I only paid $25 for the hair, but, and it was, you know what? He had an awesome deal for $32 for human hair, 100% human hair. I should have went for the $32 and got the human hair because you can do whatever you want to that shit. But I didn't. I was concerned about making sure I paid my bills and all that other stuff, so I couldn't do it. Of course, it's only $7 more than what I paid for this. But I love this. It's awesome. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I think it compliments my face and my piercings. I'm finally getting rid of these things. I don't know, for like this pimple here. Who wants to hear about my pimples? I've had a breakout on my chin since I got here in November of last year. So like they're finally going away. I'm finally getting them to go away with Dial Gold and Listerine. I didn't have any alcohol or anything to put on, so I put Listerine on them, and they're finally starting to go away. So yeah, that being said, I'm gonna make a vision board today, and I think I'm gonna start another series. Okay, because being an ordained minister is something that's very important to me. I want to be able to reach people. I want to help people love each other and understand each other. I don't want to preach any religion to anybody. I want to preach a universal understanding, a universal acceptance with one simple principle, and it's the principle I'm ordained under, and that's do no harm. The only people we are allowed to hurt is ourselves, and it just doesn't make sense. 9 times out of 10, we're not going to do that. And if we are, that means there's something going on inside that we need to address. So I do start work on March 9th, and I will be working from generally until about, well, at first it's just going to be till 3 in the afternoon, and then it's going to be till 4:30 in the afternoon. But I still want to make content related to my ordainment. So I'm going to do something different than anything I've ever seen. I know a lot of people that don't believe in God. I myself, it's not that I don't believe in God, it's that I don't know if God exists. There's no way for me to prove it. There's no scientific foundation. There's no scientific anything. It is truly a leap of faith to believe in God. I haven't seen anything demonstrated to me. Miracles don't necessarily mean God exists. Things happening to happen, coincidence, et cetera, don't mean a God exists. I think the Bible was written in a certain way to everyone, but I think it was more like a collaboration of people's autobiographies, biographies, whatever the hell you want to call them. Some of it might be fiction, some of it might be fact. I don't know. The whole point is that we don't have anything in the Bible that we have in our history books. Like, okay, maybe because it's not American history, but when it comes to American history, I think all we really need to know is how American government works, and that's so we can protect ourselves, and that's so we can understand the way our government is run. I think that's all we should be teaching kids in school. I think all this extra shit like American history and all that, okay, if they want to be history buffs, they can learn on their own if it's something they're interested in, but I think we're wasting a lot of our mental space and a lot of our time teaching our children things they don't need to know, that they're never going to use, and that they could be using that time to prepare for a career and be prepared to be worked for the rest of their life by America. I think part of the reason we have so many mental health issues now is because mothers are going back to work far too soon. And I don't think people are educated enough on the importance of maternal relationship with their children. In the first 5 years is when children's minds, neurological systems, and all that stuff is developed. Their personalities, their emotions, their coping skills, all of that is developed in the first 5 years. And if you interrupt that and you allow too many people to have a bonded relationship or a close relationship where they are allowed authority over your children or allowed to discipline your children, I think that's when the conflicts begin to arise, and our brains begin to get confused because not all of those authority figures are being authoritative in the same manner. Needless to say, and we're not protecting our children. You leave people. You hear about it every day. People leave their kids with someone they loved and trust and knew and whatever. Kids end up getting molested. Kids end up being abused. Kids end up dying in the hands of friends or family. Kids end up dying in the hands of babysitters or nannies or in daycare. It's to me, I think if you're going to, okay, we have to go through all this extra stuff to have a career. You have to have a degree to be a doctor, all these other things, blah, 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 whatever. Okay, medical makes sense to have a degree, and especially if you do surgery or something, because you're intrusive and you could kill someone. But we have kids and we have to watch a 10-minute video before we leave the hospital, and that's it. Trust me, I know. I've had 5 kids, and each time that's exactly what it was. Watch this video, then you can go home. That was it. There's no parenting classes required. There's no, okay, if I'm going to have a kid, this kid's going to require a certain amount of attention from the ages of whatever to whatever. And I need to be the one to give that to them so that they can have every chance, every possibility of reaching their full potential without anybody interrupting, without anybody abusing them, without me neglecting them, without them not gaining the right neurological development because they don't have the right interaction with certain people. People have no idea how intricate and specific. It's like, I'm going to have to share some of the research I have one of these days on maternal deprivation. Like it's what causes emotionless psychopathy. Maternal deprivation causes emotionless psychopathy. Like seriously, there's a biological bond. Okay, there's children that have been put up for adoption and been adopted and grown up just fine. But that's not to say that they don't have problems. That's not to say, okay, sometimes it just works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think the majority of the time, there's serious consequences for that shit. Like, I'm totally pro-abortion because if you get pregnant, rather than having that kid out there in the system, okay, there's plenty of parents that want to adopt kids, but when it's done through the right channels, okay, that's acceptable. But if you get pregnant and you just have the baby because you don't believe in abortion, everyone's harassing you because you're going to get an abortion, you're going to kill a baby, as a human being. Wouldn't you rather stop that human being's chances of suffering for the rest of their life? Because there's no way for you to determine how they're going to be affected by it. Like, okay, most of the time, well, a lot of the time, some of the time it goes fine. But if you're not there to take care of that baby, if you're not there to emotionally provide or physically provide or whatever provide for that child, well then, why would you either put it through the chances of being adopted by motherfuckers that say they're good adoptive parents and then end up to be psychopaths, put them through the majority of foster homes and foster care is bullshit. They've got so many kids and they're so overwhelmed. I know of one good foster mom, and she wasn't a foster mom until I had known her for a while. And I don't even interact with this woman very well, but I've seen her with her own kids, or very much. Very well is not the word. I don't even interact with this woman very much, but she's like the only person that I know that like demonstrated in her personal life that she could handle foster kids and do well. Like seriously, having foster kids is even ridiculous. Like it's awesome, good, help people, but like a lot of people are doing it for checks. A lot of people are doing it and having too many kids at one time. A lot of people are doing it and not supervising those children, and then those children are hurting other children, and then it's just very complicated. And child rearing is something that is so detrimental to the success of our society, and it's like the first thing that's being neglected. And people might say watching this, oh, Amber, what are you talking about? You weren't there for any of your kids. You got 4 years left with your youngest, and that's the only time you've ever attempted to be a mother. Wrong answer. Say what you want. Nobody knows the full circumstances because nobody will sit down with me and find out. So I'm going to leave that alone. I've got 4 years left with this one, and I'm hoping she sticks around longer. Anywho, Steve Harvey inspired me to get a vision board. I'm going to make a series of videos. I've been rambling on for 24 minutes. I'm going to make a series of videos dedicated to the Bible for non-believers. The Bible for non-believers is I'm going to find passages to bring attention to. I'm going to present them in a way that you don't have to believe in God. I'm going to present them in a way that they serve a purpose, much like Aesop's fables. I keep referring to Aesop's fables and Mother Goose. I don't know that Mother Goose had many morals. I don't know if Mother Goose had morals to the story. Like, did she? I think it was Aesop's fables is who always had the morals to the story, like slow and steady wins the race and all that crap. But to put my Christmas present to use, and because I don't really read the Bible, I've read the Bible through and through. I grew up memorizing it. I believe the Bible is some fiction, some nonfiction. I believe it's been manipulated and twisted and interpreted several different ways, some being correct, some being incorrect throughout history. And I think we need to be focusing more on the morals of the story rather than what we're supposed to believe out of it. We're losing sight in the morals of the story by focusing on what it is we're supposed to believe. Like, in order for us to have salvation, we have to be a human being that accepts anything we've done wrong, that continues to grow and learn, that does their best not to hurt other people or themselves, and is responsible to the best of their ability. That's what you need for salvation. All this extra, you have to believe this person died for that person, and that person went to this place, and that one's from here, and those are from there, and we're all aliens and part Nephilim. And are you kidding me? When I think about what the Christian religion has pretty much raised me to believe, I'm like, how the fuck did I ever believe any of this to begin with? Like, I'm a very logical person. I'm a very, like, you bring something to my attention and I'll be like, I'll pick it apart. Maybe not out loud, but in my head, in my mind, I pick apart everything. And I'm just like, I analyze every possibility, every possible outcome, every way of approaching it, every way it could be interpreted. It's like my brain is like 15 hamsters in one wheel. And like I said before, one of them is running really fast and he's keeping the wheel going. And the others are just kind of like jumping off and on or being. So I'll keep one topic going and it keeps me going. And then I've got all these extras jumping in, squirreling my ass all day long. And then eventually the one gets exhausted and gets off. And then I pass out. No, I'm just kidding. That's pretty much how it goes. But anyway, yeah, I'm very not critical. I'm just very analytical and in a logical way. Like, if things don't make sense, they don't add up, it's very difficult for me to. Algebra I was good at, but when she started getting past like the fractions part of algebra, when you had like numbers and letters that represented numbers, and then okay, it's not even a number, it's a letter representing the fact that there could be a number there, and God knows what number it could be, because it could be any number. And then, yeah, that shit really fucking drove me nuts. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to present the Bible in a way that I'm going to present the Bible for non-believers. And not with the intent to make them believers either, just with the intent of finding morals to the stories that we can all use, a universal understanding. I really think that we all as a society need to come to a point of acceptance where when people are doing things and they're not hurting anyone, then leave them alone. Now people say, oh, well, that hurts my feelings to watch my loved one go through this. And are you serious? People find everything to be offended about. People find every way possible to claim that something someone's doing is hurting them. None of us are obligated to each other in any way, shape, or form except parents to children. And that says in the Bible, I think it words it, children obey your parents. Well, parents teach your children, supervise your children, be parents. I can see a lot of eyebrows raising right now. I mean, I can't see them, but in my head, I can see them. People going, does she really have the audacity? Yes. Nobody knows my circumstances for the past 22 years. And actually, I take that back. 22 minus 4. Is it 18? Yeah. I still count on my fingers. For the past 18 years. For the past 18 years, I've been through a lot that nobody knows about. I never abandoned my children. I never abused my children. I never neglected my children. I was abused by the system. My children were abused by the system. My children and I were all victims of the system. And I don't think my mother fully understands that, but that is who was there for my children when I could not be. It wasn't that I didn't want to be. It wasn't that I was able to and just chose not to. It was that I could not get away. I could not navigate. There were a lot of things I didn't understand and didn't know how to approach. And so I didn't. I was taken advantage of just as much as my children were, if not, what's the word? Sorry, squirrel. Oh, no, the puppies. Yeah, so there you go, 30 minutes of rambling on about nothing. I'm going to start a new series that involves the Bible. I'm going to try my best to stop being so resentful about the way the situation my family is in. The only human beings on this planet that I am obligated to are my children. And the rest, I mean, if they want me in their life, they'll have me in their life. If they don't, they won't. I'm not going to sit here and let myself get pushed to the point that my father and my son were. And I'm not saying that to point fingers, but obviously my father and my son were hurting enough that they felt it necessary to remove themselves from this planet. Okay? My father commits suicide and my son commits suicide. I don't want to commit suicide. I don't want to die. And I know there are plenty of times I have felt the complete opposite. Hurt so much that I was like, you know what? I'm such a worthless being that why do I even need to be in my daughter's life? What is she gaining from me? Obviously, there's nothing to gain from me. There's nothing to learn from me. There's nothing I can provide anyone. So what good am I to her? I've really honestly felt that way because of the way other people treat me. And so I want to prevent that from happening. And the best and only way that I've been able to do that is to completely distract myself from the world outside, focus on her and I, and hopefully maybe reach people through YouTube. I know I've put some pretty off-the-wall shit on YouTube already, like some of it crazy, some of it just weird, some of it boring, some of it not. Take it or leave it. This is like my only outlet. This is like my counselor, my therapist, my friend, my parents. YouTube is, and social media are my family. That's weird. Yeah. All right then. I hope you guys like my hair. It did. It looked nice. It looked beautiful when but I was so upset about it. First of all, I was frustrated because
People don't have what they want.
I was frustrated because it's hard to do by yourself. Like it's hard to put a weave in. And it's not the best weave in the world. It's just track straight across. Well, straight across. And then once you get here, they go like this in an L shape. And then it has a piece in the middle that's supposed to be the part, but that's not what was laying. It wasn't laying down the way I wanted it to. Like it was driving me nuts. So I was like, fuck, I'm going to be doing this all day. And it looked pretty. It looked great. It really did. But I like it like this even better. I love this. This is like my personality. This is me. This is awesome. This is perfect for me. It shows the mohawk like I want the mohawk to show. And it's still got like a little bit of flair and class right here with these bangs. Yeah. Except for this one. I don't know what it's doing. Just let it do what it wants. Yeah. Anywho, yeah. Dial Gold and Listerine if you got a stubborn pimple. Dial Gold is antibacterial. And Listerine has alcohol in it, I think. That's my guess. I want to try this new stuff called Avera Glow. Avera. AVER Glow. I guess it's not new, but it's like all 100% natural extracts. And it's very expensive. Well, to me, it's like $150 for one kit. And one kit has like a cleanser. They call it dew. It's like a mist, like a moisturizing mist or toner kind of thing. And a mask or a scrub. I don't know. It's like 4 products, but it's $150 freaking dollars. Nothing I can afford yet. But I'm trying to keep myself in high spirits so I make it to March 9th. Because once I start working, once I start getting a paycheck, get off SSI and SSA can get out of my ass. Stop taking money that's not even theirs to take away from me. And yeah, I can be independent. I don't have to be responsible to report anything to anyone. I can just do what I have to do. Go to work, enjoy work, be happy, come home, enjoy time with my daughter, make a video about the Bible for those non-believers out there that, I mean, we can't just burn all the Bibles. I mean, that would be pointless. It's stupid to burn any book. I actually burned the Bible once. I had them all down in California when my daughter was still in custody of that jerk off. I tore a Bible to pieces and I started lighting the pages on fire and dropping them on the floor. I was like, you really don't want to burn down the trailer in the process. I did have one second of sense, and I was like, oh shit, that's probably a bad idea. This fucking trailer's like a matchbox. Caught it just in time. And mysteriously, the guy's brother showed up. Huh. Anyway. Somehow, some way, must be an act of God that people knew when I was in distress and I needed someone to come rescue my ass. Unfortunately, it was always people from the same circle. That's what bothers me. Anyhow, I have to make my kid get up for school. Don't I look adorable? I love it. And my mismatched PJs. My fanny's getting huge. So is my gut. Over hoodie. All right, everyone, have a fantabulous day. I'll be back with some more videos. Like, share, comment. Hit that little dingy bell if you want to hear me ramble on randomly about nothing, at least once a day, usually. Sometimes I upload shit. Not as much as I used to. We're going to try to change that. Maybe I should come on here and show you guys how I got this fabulous mohawk. That means I have to take this out again. No. I had like a mirror thumbtacked to the wall so I could like do this. And then I still couldn't do this because my arms kept getting in the way of the reflections. I was like, oh God, how the fuck am I supposed to do this? It was awful. Thank you for watching. Have a fantabulous day. 5 more minutes to end the stream. YouTube really needs to work on that.